What's up everybody, Chris here, your host on Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. Today, we have a ton of new updates for the DC Universe. Now, there's been a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to be talking about specifically in today's video the new Superman. We're getting reports that Henry Cavill, who we all are aware has finished his role as Superman, has officially been replaced in the DC Universe, and not in a way any of us were expecting. We also have to talk about leaving the DCEU and the Snyderverse on the side, putting it away, getting onto the newer and bigger things that will be coming with the Flash film, transitioning away from the DCEU as we've known it so far, bringing some key characters along, and moving us into the DC Universe. We also had our first test screener for The Flash happen on Monday night, and there are reports talking about Shazam showing up in that movie. And while we're on the topic of The Flash, we're going to have to discuss a little bit about Ezra Miller getting arrested in Hawaii and what's going on with that, and if it should affect or will affect the very important Flash film for the DC Universe. So buckle up, lots to talk about, lots of crazy news. We're going to get to it in just a second. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turning on those notification bells, commenting down below. Let me know what you're most excited for in the DC Universe. I think Black Adam is very promising, but I'm also aware that the Flash film is the most important DC project to come out in a very long time. As I've mentioned already, it is a pivoting point for DC to step into the DC Universe to try to put together the shambles of a cinematic universe that they currently have, with all of the lack of coordination between a lot of the DC films already, switching of directors, releasing out director's cuts, and just a ton of issues that the DCEU has suffered. This all puts a lot of pressure on the Flash film, the multiverse, and the DC Universe. But we're going to talk about that in just a second. Let's get to the breaking news that we have reportedly a new Superman in the DC Universe. Henry Cavill, as much as we all loved him in Man of Steel, it's done. We're not going to be getting another one, at least not anytime soon. We're hearing specifically reports from the test screening for the Flash movie that this movie will put the DCEU and the Snyderverse all the way in the back of the shelf, where it's still accessible if they decide they want to pull it back up one day, but it is definitely being cornered as they continue on introducing old characters like Michael Keaton and trying to branch out to other new characters from different multiverses. If you have been following, you know that the Flash movie has casted Sasha Calle to be Supergirl, and she'll be showing up in that Flash film. Well, we're getting an exclusive report from Screen Geek saying Sasha Calle's Supergirl is replacing Henry Cavill's Superman. And My Time to Shine Hello backs this up by saying true. So it looks like we won't be having a Superman in the upcoming and immediate DC Universe. However, the main Superman will actually be Supergirl and will be Sasha Calle's Supergirl. This definitely comes to me as a little bit of a shock, as last we heard they were looking to make a black Superman, a person of color, and a different character altogether to maybe take the mantle away from Henry Cavill. Now we're hearing that Sasha Calle is going to be the main Superman presence in the DC Universe immediately moving forward. And as I mentioned, this Snyderverse, this DCEU that we know up to now, is going to be put into the back shelf, kind of not really looked at for a little bit. And we get further evidence of this from the same test screening for the Flash movie that happened Monday, where we're getting reports that we should expect to see, as of right now, Shazam in the Flash film. Prior, we haven't heard too many rumors or expectations of this, but now that we have seen some test screenings and we're getting different reports from different groups and different organizations, it sounds like we should expect to, as of right now with the current version, see Shazam. So with that wording, I presume it is a very small role that he has. If it's something that's very easily manipulated out of the movie, that can be changed. However, I think it's important to note that the characters that are being brought into the Flash film will have integral and important roles moving forward. So we're not going to see Henry Cavill's Superman, but there have been rumors for Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, for Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and now also for Shazam, who will be bringing all of his characters with him along in this wild ride, as well as probably Black Adam, as we're also hearing that those movies are certainly going to connect at some point. So very important key players from the DCEU are also being transitioned over in this Flash movie, and we'll see how all of the pieces land and how the dust settles once the movie does release. It was in this transition that I was originally expecting that we would be seeing a new Superman, a Superman from a different multiverse, and yeah, the expectation was that that Superman was going to be a person of color, with the majority of rumors pointing towards Michael B. Jordan as the character who would be picking up that mantle and playing this keynote character in the DC Comics universe. However, now it sounds like that even if we do get an appearance from a different Superman from a different multiverse, Sasha Calle will be the key character to play that role, and that Supergirl is going to be taking a little bit of the spotlight ahead of Superman for the next following years. So up to this point, all really interesting, and I would say for the most part really good news for the Flash film. Supergirl's role is going to be even more important now. We're going to be stepping into a bigger, better, more cohesive DC universe, hopefully, and although it is sad to hear that Henry Cavill definitely won't be picking up the mantle anytime soon, or maybe ever again, it is okay because I think we were all pretty mentally prepared for that. We also have the excitement of knowing Shazam might be involved and probably will be involved in the Flash movie, and that everything's starting to look like there's bright light for the DC universe. However, that bright light is not without one shadow cast upon all of us, coming in the character of Ezra Miller. Yes, and we've had issues with him over the last few years. However, he was just recently arrested in Hawaii for threatening people, threatening to kill people and their wives. And now he has this whole cease and desist that he's dealing with, and he's in the media again. It was only a couple years ago that he was in trouble for choking out some people and some women, and Ezra Miller has been a little bit of a trouble child. We've been waiting for this Flash film for several years, and now we're finally getting it, and not only are we getting it, it's going to be the most important movie in DC's recent history, with the transition, we've talked about this so many times on the channel, the transition from the DCEU to the DC Universe, what characters are going to come. It's all up to the Flash to try to make these determining moments with his quantum abilities, the ability to leap into time and to leap into space. So here's this character who is infinitely important to this transition for DC, which is really make or break in my opinion, and the actor cannot behave. Now, I don't imagine Warner Brothers are going to take any action because of the weight of this character and the role. They filmed everything already and they've already finished reshoots. This movie's coming out, and yeah, it's been pushed back and they've reshuffled their slate a little bit, but I don't think that there really is time for them to reshoot this movie with a different Flash or to cancel this movie. The budget, the money they've spent on it, getting Michael Keaton back, the excitement that does exist. If you push this movie back again to replace the Flash to get a completely different Flash that doesn't fit with what did exist in the DCEU, you are actually burying any hope of DC making a real comeback without completely wiping any DC movie and starting over from scratch with a brand new DC cinematic universe. Now, that's not to say that maybe Ezra Miller deserves to be fired or deserves to be replaced. I just don't see how that's a likely possibility at the moment with the weight of the Flash film for Warner Brothers and for DC. However, we will keep our ears open. We'll be looking to see if we get any updates. Warner Brothers has been pretty quiet about this up to this point. But yeah, he's in some legal trouble yet again. The most important character in the most important movie that DC will be releasing within the next year. So we'll let you know what's happening with that. Be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any breaking news or any other daily updates happening right here on Cosmic Culture.